Hey, Eddie, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Luis. Good to be here with you.
For those who do not know you yet, could you quickly explain who you are and how you got into the Elrond Network?
Right. I'm Eddie Nuţă. I'm one of the founders of Valid Blocks, a staking provider on Elrond. And we started with Valid Blocks in 2018, started with the Cosmos ecosystem, with the game of stakes. It's an incentivized testnet they ran. And we were always looking for other POS solutions. And having known the Elrond founders before Elrond, like Benjamin and Lucian, it was just a perfect match, So we were following Elrond even before they launched publicly, and we helped them start the first validators chat on Riot in April 2019 with the first public testnet. And we're here practically from the very beginning.
Since day one.
Day zero, I would say.
Day zero. What would you say drew you to the Elrond Network in the first place?
Well, people like to make this kind of comparisons and say, well, my blockchain is better, mine is bigger, mine is faster. I try to steer away from this kind of comparisons because I don't believe in zero-sum game approach. But I really love the novel adaptive state sharding consensus. And I really loved the way they solve the security, the scalability, and also the decentralization, which is actually a phased process, the decentralizations. And we are on the road to decentralizations. So I love the ambition, of the team, the dedication, the long hours, I remember we used to run a few updates a day. And running a few updates a day means somebody has to code those updates, right? Actually make the changes, build, test, and then deploy. And the effort behind running a few updates a day is tremendous. So the team there is stellar, it's 5-star, and they're not afraid to work. They say on Friday night, they say, have a good weekend, see you tomorrow. So they also have the vision, like Benjamin is a true visionary, I think. You got the team, you got the vision, and now you've got the community as well. So this is, I think, these are the secret ingredients to making Elrond a great blockchain.
I think you've been in the crypto space for a bit longer. And obviously there are competitors. Let's maybe not choose one specific one, but what would you say is the biggest advantage of the Elrond network over one of these competitors?
Oh, there are many advantages, many I would say higher points. But I would still go with the mindset of not leaving anyone behind, and the mindset of if it has been done this way so far, why not try the other way? Without thinking out of the box. I'm saying, this is really important. Because blockchain is here since 2009. Bitcoin, blah, 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 fast forward to Ethereum. And we already have some preconceptions, or this can be done, or this or that can be done, or this should be done this way or that way. And I like that Elrond started without these preconceptions. So without this box that would, steer their thinking into one way or the other. The minds that build Elrond, obviously you have the vision, right? And the initial idea. But after that, when you bring a team together and the project takes shape, the team that formed Elrond did not have their history, I would say, tainted with the previous mistakes in blockchain. So they looked at the market and they looked at all the blockchains and say, and said, okay, they do it this way, they do it this way, they do it this way. Why not do it that way? What could we do to make it better?
Yeah.
It's like re-engineering something without the baggage of preconceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is brilliant, and it came at the perfect time. In 2017, I think they started. 2018, they had their first working product, and launched in 2019. So blockchain had enough history to learn from its mistakes, and the direction, I think, is awesome.
When you think about the specific tasks that you need to perform on the Elrond blockchain, both from a personal and a business point of view, what would these tasks be, and what do you need to perform them properly?
Right. When I think blockchain, my first and foremost thought is security, right? And without security, you have nothing. And you can have the shiniest blockchain with a humongous amount of TPS, right? If there's no security or the security is lacking, then you're doomed to fail. So I've studied the Elrond blockchain from the very beginning, and the security is there, at every step, even in the layer, execution layer, everything. So this puts me at ease, right? Knowing the security is where it should be. After that, there's the user friendliness, right? I consider myself a power user, right? So I don't necessarily use all the tools that regular folks do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to visit one of my aunts in Spain, and she asked me what I do. So I tried to paint a big picture of blockchain. This is blockchain. This is what we do. And how can I be part of it? She says. So I said, well, you could install Maiar. She's almost 60, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You could install Maiar, and you can be a part of this. Is it difficult? I said, no, here it is. And she picks up the app. She starts setting it up. And then I explain the importance of the secret phrase. I never get tired of explaining this.
Can imagine.
And I gave her first eagle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's been staking and compounding ever since. And when we had the issue with the APIs that were down for a day or so, she said, hey, the app isn't working. Can you help me? So she's actively doing that months later,
Amazing.
So that's fantastic. This user friendliness is something that you need to have nowadays.
Yeah.
Blockchain cannot be a place where only geeks with computers can play with. It's not there anymore. We've evolved to something much bigger, and if we don't have this user friendliness, where the blockchain layer is kind of hidden. I mean, it's not in first eye. You don't have to start a CLI and type whatever code. So I think this is a huge step for Elrond, because they had this in mind from the very beginning. End users have to find it very easy to work. If you have to explain it up to make it work, then it doesn't work. It has to be very intuitive. Elrond has that.
Talking from a business point of view, what do you need to perform the tasks that you have to perform on a day-to-day basis on the Elrond blockchain to really make it work for you?
I think in proof of stake validation field, you need to have a very good network, right? With very capable computers with very good uptime, aiming towards 100% uptime, and decentralization. That's what you need, right? So I think we already have that in Elrond, because for the decentralization, you need to run more than one node with all the stake you have. So you need to spread your nodes across the globe. And also, I really love the redundancy feature that is built in the protocol. Mm-hmm. And this is industry first, I think, because we've been in other blockchain spaces. Actually, this answer can go to the advantages of Elrond, previous question.
Yeah.
having built-in redundancy at the protocol level that ensures you don't do double signing. This is just awesome, you know. I mean, we as Valid Blocks, we run a number of servers, and then we run those keys again, those BLS keys again in different servers with redundancy level 1 or 2. And when the main server goes offline for whatever reason, this data center catches fire, that happened in France last year, or the power goes down or whatever, the backup nodes kick in automatically. I don't have to do anything. They just do. The protocol just works like that. Yeah. And it is really amazing, because I've seen other blockchains where you have two servers, the same setup basically, running, but you can run them with the same key. So when the first server goes down, you start your second server and you start validating. But if the first server comes back up online, and you have both of them in the same time online, they can perform what is called a double sign. So submitting the signature to the same block from the same key at the same time, and that is a slashable event. So you don't want that. So people go great lengths to prevent this from happening. I've seen operating systems created to prevent double signing, and Elrond has this at the protocol level.
Built in.
It's just a setting you have to a property you have to adjust in the config file, and boom, you're there.
That's it. Which sort of application or module are you currently still missing, waiting for, would like to see on the Elrond network that would really make life easier for you or maybe the users?
I will answer maybe more on the module side, right? Because applications with the developer ecosystem that we have right now that is thriving, they will come. They are coming slowly, and they will come even faster. But on the Elrond protocol, on the modules that I would like to see deployed are, first would be the staking phase 4. And the staking phase 4 is going to remove the importance of nodes. I mean, will minimize the importance of nodes in favor of stake. So right now, if you want to sit at the table, you have to go through a queue, and that's how you get nodes, right? And become a validator. But in the future, with stake, you know, you can there will be an auction where anybody can participate with stake in the network. So it will be a fair game, I would say. And hand in hand with this will be the governance module. So I would really love to see that implemented and how it will work. And Elrond's shift from Elrond Foundation maybe to something like a DAO. With governance, with voting, with proposals and everything. And of course, slashing. Maybe that's not a popular opinion amongst validators, but I think slashing is really important, because managing a proof of stake validator is not a trivial thing and should not be taken lightly. I mean, I would not handle servers validating with stake of millions of dollars, right, on my home computer in my basement. I would not do that, right? You would need good business practices to run a business like this. So I think slashing is really important, and it needs to be implemented. And it might hurt some people, but this is what you should do, actually. Filter out the people that are really dedicated to this, and help the others grow, you know, push them forward.
What would you say is currently the biggest pain point for you when it comes to the Elrond network? We've already touched on the many advantages, and obviously we're all in it for the long run. But as of right now, is there anything you would like to change immediately? Do you maybe even see any risks potentially?
Well, like I mentioned in the beginning, you know, in blockchain, there are three pillars, right? You have security, which is already in place. You have scalability, which is also already in place with adaptive state sharding. And then you have the third point, which is decentralization, right? Elrond started with 67% of the network being ran by Elrond Foundation servers. Those servers were funded with community funds. Mm-hmm. So it was just the first staking provider and the only staking provider that was in staking phase 2. Right, so people could delegate to the Elrond community staking provider, and they ran all those nodes, like 1,400 nodes, something like that. With staking phase 3, the number of nodes increased generally to 3,200, and the Elrond control nodes number came down. Right now we are at 700 something, so almost half of what it used to be. So this is still work in progress. New staking providers are joining the ecosystem every day almost. We have the biggest names in proof of stake validators already on Elrond ecosystem. So I think this is one of the things that needs to happen, and it's ongoing, but the direction is good. Of course, the Elrond team knows that if you don't have a decentralized blockchain, you will not be able to attract people to develop on it. So this is something that is ongoing, I would say. Now, I was just saying that it's ongoing, but it's still one of the pains in the Elrond ecosystem.
And then last question would be, is there anything from the traditional sort of business sector that you would like to see implemented in the blockchain space, potentially even Web3?
I would say when people started launching businesses on Web3, right, on blockchain, like proof of stake validators, it was crypto enthusiasts, right? Nerds, geeks. Okay, I could make a business out of this. And they started building a business, right? And of course, this is good because you have all the enthusiasm of a startup, right? And you have the dedication and you put the hours in. But that doesn't mean necessarily that you know what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. So traditional business does have some safeguards in place and does keep you from doing some mistakes. So maybe I would take the example of what we do at ValidatorX, right? If we would just run the servers in a decentralized way from our homes or whatever, we don't want to go to a centralized data center, it's kind of mindset, then you don't have the security and the backup of a data center. Yeah. So I've seen cases like this, right, where people treat this like a hobby or like a weekend thing, I think. So if people like this are involved in a multi-billion-dollar blockchain, right, and something happens, the power goes down or whatever, everything is affected. So we don't want that. We want people that do know what are the best practices for running a staking provider, right? Yeah. Running the nodes, running the servers, having monitoring in place. This is, an absolute must, right? And I know that not everybody has that. So I think time will help filter the ones that really want to run this as a business and the ones that want to run as a hobby. I think from professional businesses, we could borrow the best practices or whatever area you're working on, be it validation, be it marketing, communications, whatever,
that would be it. Eddie, thank you so much for your time and your insights. That was really interesting. And looking forward to talking to you sometime soon.
Thank you very much for taking the time to hear me out.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
You too. Bye.